For those of you joining us, welcome. This is it. This is the hot window of the 2023 Portland Track Festival. Tonight we will decide who are the champions in the 800 meters for men's and women's races, the 5,000 meters, and the 1,500 meters here in the Electric Forest. Ladies and gentlemen, be where your feet are. This is a time that you will tell your grandchildren about.
And if you don't, the black and white of the paper tomorrow will.
We are here at Mount Hood Community College, ready to start the hot window of the Portland Track Festival. And this is an exciting moment here as the women's 800 meters competitors line up. You can see the hot window on the screen there, starting with the Tracktown Kids Club women's 800 meters. Here at Mount Hood Community College, where the trees shake, the legs ache, and the stands quake. Will Lear is joining me for tonight's hot window. Will, we've got an exceptional field lined up here for the women's 800 meters.
This is the who's who of women's 800 meter running, or some of the who's who of women's 800 meter running right now. I think it's safe to say that the U.S. has the deepest field of women 800 meter runners in the world right now, with innumerable athletes breaking the fabled 2-minute barrier. We've got world champions, Olympic champions, and in this group is a large number of these women who are trying to contest with the Thing Mo's, the Raven Rogers here, who's run 1:56 for the 800 meters. Absolutely astonishing, Olympic bronze medalist. The weather is accommodating. They've seen other athletes run incredibly quickly this evening, and I think that there's no better start to the hot window in this event.
Yeah, 156 to Raven Rogers' name. Last year she won this event, 158.9. We have never had a repeat winner for the 800 meters in the Portland Track Festival, but there she gets an applause from the crowd, and the meet record is held by Gabriella Debuse Stafford, as we said earlier, 158.7. Nia Aikens in this race too, the Brooks Beast. Her best is 158.78. Addie Townsend on the outside. And we get a glimpse of the rest of the competitors. Christy Schofield, Nia Aikens there, Raven Rogers, Taryn Rawlings. Kayla Edwards has been on a hot one too. She's in lane 2, and Rebecca Mera on the inside in lane 1. Edwards coming into this race, having run 2 flat .22 this year with a personal best of 159.6. Every athlete in this field has run 2:01 or faster.
That is insane. The pace is set for 73 seconds through 500 meters, which is about 58 seconds through the 400. With the assistance of the Wavelight technology, these rabbits should do an exceptional job. It's the expectation of the athletes, and it's the job of the athletes to get right in their tail and follow them to the promised land.
So the pacer trying to get out in front, but we do have Kayla Edwards charging out front too. She means business tonight, and they are well ahead of the Wavelights, but that as expected, as you want to get some change in the bank in the 800 meters to start out. But that's Edwards, and then Raven Rogers, and Nia Aikens, and Taryn Rawlings on the inside, and then Rogers' teammate McKenna Keegan wearing the Nike Union Athletics Club uniform behind Rawlings. But now the Pacers ducking out on the inside, and Kayla Edwards really wants to get after this pace.
You've seen Kayla attempt this strategy a couple of times this year. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but she's running so aggressively from the front, and unfortunately there were some photographers after the finish line there preventing the rabbit from getting out of her way a bit more quickly, but we know Raven Rogers has a fiery finish, and so Kayla's trying to get as far away from her as she can, charging down the backstretch. You have Rogers right on Edwards, followed closely by Aikens.
A 57.5 through the quarter as they drive down the backstretch. Edwards still in front, and to see Raven Rogers this close to Edwards, this is going to be a special performance because we know that Rogers likes to hang back.
And Nia Akins is also an incredibly strong 800-meter runner. You know, these women not fading at all, not giving an inch over the final course of this race. And Rogers pulls up on the outside of Edwards' shoulder with 100 meters to go. And is that inside window going to open for Akins?
Here it is.
And it does.
This is the move. Now it is Rogers and Akins down the stretch. The Union Athletics Club
passed on the inside twice.
Rogers, the defending champion, and now Akins driving to the line. A huge victory here in the Electric Forest for Nia Akins as she ducks under the 2-minute mark, 1:59.37. The Brooks Beasts have had a storied history here in the 800 meters at the Portland Track Festival, but it has been historically on the men's side. Tonight, Nia Akins notches her victory for the women.
That is not only a Portland Track Fest. It's Portland Track Fest. Was 58? Was Gabby Debus?
Yeah, 1:58.7.
Okay, but Nia Akins stamps a world qualifying time with that 1:59.37, something that she no longer needs to worry about when she goes to compete in Eugene at the U.S. Championships in 4.5 weeks. What a run. Gutsy, taking some chances with 2 inside passes in the last 100 meters. How did she get away with that?
She looked confident out there, and she'll take home, as it sits right now, $1,387.
Sweeten the pot. Come on.
Sweeten the pot for that performance, and there will still be purchases after tonight. No doubt with the noise being made here on the track at Mount Hood Community College. But these are the men lining up, and this is a race for the ages shaping up here in the total running production men's 800 meters. We've got a slew of Brooks Beasts in here. They've targeted this race. There's 4 of them. You've got Devin Dixon, who has run 1:44 and is looking to find his form and get back to that. Here we get a glimpse of the meet record. Still Tyler Mulders from 2013, 1:44.7. And that is with so many great runners who have raced here in the past. We get a glimpse of Josh Kerr there, the Olympic bronze medalist in the 1500, joining his fellow beasts on the line for the 2-lapper. Isaiah Harris there, 1:44 man as well.
The fastest shuffler on planet Earth, Isaiah Harris.
Rolling those shoulders around the bend.
Absolutely. I love it.
We got Charlie Hunter, the Australian man, Nike Union Athletics Club, a 1:44 man. And then Kyle Langford there, British guy on the Brooks Beasts, 11th in the world in the 800 meters. And on the inside, the world indoor silver medalist, Noah Cabet in lane 2 for the Union Athletics Club. And then on the far inside in lane 1, last year's runner-up, Derek Holdsworth, who ran a personal best of 1:45.3 in this race. So a great list of competitors here. The Brooks Beasts have won this event 4 times, but not since 2019 when Josh Kerr won it. And he is in the field. We'll see if he can do it tonight. The defending champ, Brandon McBride, is not on the line, so.
And they have none other than Eric Sawinski.
Eric Sawinski knows this race well. He's going to get them out. We have $25 thrown in.
Oh, we went to Noah Cabet errantly went up to the 400-meter start line, so they called the athletes back.
All right, getting reset here. We have $25 thrown in for the. It says for the Beast from the East. Sweeten the pot.
That's got to be Langford.
And we're off and running here. The Beasts are in the yellow singlets. The blue singlets of the Nike Union Athletics Club. We have Elliot Cook on the outside, University of Oregon runner. And then Derek Holdsworth on the inside. That's Noah Cabet jumping out to an early lead behind Eric Sawinski. Cabet is a savvy tactical racer.
If you want a hot pace, you get the Iowa Hot Guys Track Club. None other than Mr. Sawinski. Seems to be quite a bit ahead of the rest of the pack right now, but doing an excellent job. He's exactly where he needs to be, and yet for whatever reason, Noah Cabet does not seem capable of keeping pace with this race. It's too bad, and you have guys like Josh Kerr, who usually would use his late charge to win this thing, having to step up.
This bodes well for the likes of Josh Kerr here. The pace through 400 meters. 53.03 for Josh Kerr, given the nod there, just ahead of Noah Kibet, but Kibet retakes the lead, and we'll see what they can do over this second lap. It's Kibet still out in front, and can Josh Kerr get by him? Kibet gives a surge down the back stretch as they approach 600 meters, and they are flying, and the two are separating. It is 1:19 with 200 meters to go. Josh Kerr given a lot of energy on the outside there.
Yeah, running an extra 2 to 3 meters. And oh my goodness, you guys, Zaire Harris coming hard, charging fast, along with Elliott Cook. There goes Josh Kerr, the 1,500 meter man, and a slew of Brooks Beasts with him.
But look at Devin Dixon on the outside. Can Devin Dixon take it from his teammate Josh Kerr? I don't know. We'll see. Josh Kerr takes the win. And it looks like a 146.62 for Josh Kerr after a 53 opening lap. So 53.53, and it is Brooks Beast 1, 2, 3.
I don't know what happened. Noah Kibet got out in front of every single other athlete in this field and looked intent on being the man behind Eric Sawinski. And then all of a sudden it seemed like he just started second-guessing himself and just let this gap grow and gap grow and gap grow. And this is what happens when you put a 1,500-meter medalist amongst that slower pace. Josh Kerr charging away to the finish with the great drone shots there. But here comes Josh Kerr, almost negative, splitting this 800 meters, taking the victory in 146.6.
Josh, it looked like Noah Kibet was running the smart race on the inside as he was pushing Josh Kerr on the outside around that entire second lap, but Kerr able to use his 1,500 strength and cruise to victory here in the Electric Forest as the Beasts go 1, 2, 3.
You know, I know Josh Kerr will not be disappointed with winning a race against a bunch of 800-meter specialists. I think he's a guy who probably still hopes to lower that personal best, run in the 143, 144 range, which is what Jake Whiteman and a lot of these other top-tier 1,500-meter runners are doing across the world. But a win is a win. The guy loves to compete. You got to think if he had a little bit more patience and just sat behind Kibet and then unleashed with 100 meters to go swinging wide, that his last 100 would have been even quicker and he could have won by an even larger margin. But the race played itself out. Josh Kerr emerged victorious.
And we turn our attention now to the Dae Sheng Women's 5,000 meters. Dae Sheng making sock liners, the insoles that you put into shoes, and they've made Portland Track personalized sock liners for this evening, so you can pick up a pair of those if you're in-house. Got some headphones listening to the broadcast. But we see the event record set by Jess Hull in 2021, and the current champ, Wayne Kaladi, 14:57 last year. We have a few 14:57 athletes in the field. Julianne Staley in that 2021 race ran 14:57, the Canadian. And Ali Buchowski, 14:57 athlete herself, but Natasha Rogers is in this field of Puma Elite Racing, a 14:52 best indoors this year, and she ran a brilliant 10K at the 10, notching a time in the 30-40 range.
You can't count Natasha Rogers out. It's very enlightening talking to her competitors. One of whom is Emily Infeld, who said, I don't know that I've ever encountered a woman who enjoys being uncomfortable more than Natasha Rogers.
That's scary.
That's scary. and you know what? I don't want to race that person.
No.
But I think one of the great things about Natasha Rogers is she has basically made it known that that's how she likes to race. She likes to race hard. She likes to make the pace fast. But she also has a great finish. We've seen her the last couple of years at the U.S. Championships kicking with the likes of Emily Infeld. It was one of the best finishes in the world, making these teams, even after being the person who's hard charging and pushing that pace from the front. So she can push the pace and then still muster an incredible finish off of that, which is definition of world class.
And I'm also looking forward to seeing Taylor Werner race. She's in this field, Puma Elite Racing too. She paced her teammate Fiona O'Keefe at the Track Fest 10,000 meters and cruised through there in the 15 teens, looking very comfortable. So ever since then, I've wanted to see what she can do in an open 5,000. Today we get that opportunity. A number of tough women in this race, though. Kellen Taylor.
Tough as they get.
And the women are off here in the Dae Sheng 5,000 meters. We get that great drone shot, and then rounding the bend here, Julia Haymock out there for the Beasts. She's pacing, and then Marissa Howard behind her, pacing as well. And we are underway. Julianne Staley in that third position, the 14:57.5 athlete from 2021. That was an incredible race with an epic finish. Jess Hull took it over Andrea Sakafian, and then everybody was cheering on Julianne Staley to break that 15-minute barrier, and she did everything she could to get under it and did it by 2.5 seconds. So Haymock up front.
I don't totally understand what the second pacer is doing, getting up on her shoulder. She just tuck in, let the other woman do the work. But they are right on pace, bang on, right in that blue zone. We were told there's going to be 2 lights here, a green light and a white light. The green light being the World Championship standard, 14:57. The white light being the U.S. standard of 15:09. The green light is now U.S. standard, which is 15:09 pace. So, you know, a lot of these women, again, you have some road warriors out there, some people who don't race on the track that often that are using this sort of last-ditch effort to qualify for, you know, how many U.S. championships has Kellen Taylor raced at?
I can't count that high. I don't know. We're going to cut away to an interview with Josh Kerr. We'll be right back.
Hi everyone, back in the living room couch with the one and only Josh Kerr, the winner of the men's 800. So Josh, how are you feeling? I mean, that was a pretty crazy race and you like really stuck it out to get the win. So give us a little race debrief.
I knew I was going to be at the back early just because those guys have really good 400 meter times. So I just wanted to make sure that I was continually pressing because my start to top speed to take so long. So yeah, I was passing people the whole time, but I felt really good, never settled, and we were slow through 400, and I think I negative split. So yeah, I felt really good about it.
That's awesome.
Did you enjoy the electric forest vibes? Tell us how you feel about running here in Portland.
Yeah, we can be in any forest in Portland, and it's that same vibe. You know, the crowd's amazing, and you know, with packed races like Portland Track put on every year, it's difficult not to come out and support and be excited to be a part of it.
Well, congratulations, great job. Everyone give a nice big round of applause for Josh.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you can sign this finish.
All right, great to see Josh Kerr take that victory, and now he has won 2 800-meter races at the Portland Track Festival 2019 and 2023. And we're coming up to 1,200 meters here with the women's 5,000. We've got the fan poll up there. They think Natasha Rogers is going to take it. Taylor Werner, close second. And 3:36 at 1,200 meters. They're on the blue lights, and we can see what the prize purse is sitting at for this race at the moment.
Yeah, so 3:36 is 72, so it's 15 flat pace, which again, that is incredibly fast running. Natasha Rogers obviously running that 14:52 indoors, very much within her zone, and I think that Julianne Staley is looking to get under that barrier. I mean, it's a formidable barrier, no different than some of the other greats in track and field.
Yeah, she got under in 2021, and she's looking to get back to that form this year. I believe she's run 15:11, if I'm not mistaken, this year. Or 15:15 indoors, I'm sorry. So Haymock still at the front, and Marissa Howard, the other pacer, on the outside. And Staley right on the pace. Natasha Rogers behind her in the purple, that powder purple uniform, and her teammate Taylor Werner behind Natasha Rogers. And I got to talk with this Puma Elite Racing team at the 10 earlier this year, and they've got a great a great team camaraderie going on. Got Natasha Rogers, Taylor Werner in there, and Fiona O'Keefe as well. And just a good team energy training out in North Carolina with Alistair and Amy Craig. And they're making a lot of noise on the track this year too. It's fun to watch other teams emerge and compete for that limelight that has been taken for a long time by teams like the Bowerman Track Club. But many teams around the country emerging, like Puma Elite Racing and the Under Armour squads too, which have been making noise.
Strength in numbers. Jeff, it's a real thing. I think a couple of years ago, USATF or someone did a study of looking like where the greatest athletes in the world are coming from, and it was a resounding over 90% coming from enclaves, training groups. So there's an obvious benefit to having training partners to show up with every day at practice, to push you, to make you better. And on your bad days, someone else is be on a good day. So you got to show up every day, ready to go to work and ready to challenge yourself. The Puma Elite Racing Group this year indoors was probably one of the more impressive displays of team running I've seen since some of those early Bowerman days when they would go to either BU or at the Armory, when people were running just in groups of women running in same times. But also nice to see here Kellen Taylor sort of closing the gap between herself and Ali Bukowski.
Kellen Taylor in the hat down there. Buhalski, the beast, hanging onto the tail end of that front pack.
Yeah, I think there's a large amount of comfort right now in that front group of five, where I think you'll probably see a couple of these ladies say, we're off of this pace. How fast can I run? How fast can I run the last kilometer or the last mile? And that's a tactical challenge posed by their coaches to get them ready to run at U.S. Championships, to get them ready to run at World Championships, where the paces are often fast and just require an immense close.
And seeing that critical mass up front too with this fast pace gets me excited to see the kind of action we're going to see in the later stages of this race, because you never know who can emerge from that pack and have a great day. And if somebody does that who's a relative unknown, then, I mean, the newswire goes quickly. You're able to claim or to tout a favorite immediately, and then that person becomes the one to beat. So we'll see as Marissa Howard takes Julianne Staley and Natasha Rogers, Taylor Werner, and Ali Buhalski through the line there. 6 laps remaining in this race, and now they're letting her go a little bit.
Yeah, I think Rogers is going to make up that gap pretty quickly here. She's a gamer, right? She's got the time. She doesn't need to come out here and prove anything. She wants to win. She wants to show all these other competitors that she's ready to go in 4.5 weeks down in Eugene. And so if there's going to be a falter from any of the athletes, she'll capitalize on that opportunity. And she made that gap back to the rabbit, made that up in 100 meters. So she's obviously feeling really good.
That's a great part about this meet too, is its proximity to championship season. It's a great time to make statements to your competitors. And a statement in the forest is heard far and wide. And now it looks like Marissa Howard is swinging wide here as they approach 3,000 meters. And Natasha Rogers will assume the duties with her teammate Taylor Werner hot on her heels, and Julianne Staley trying to stay in touch, as well as Ali Buhalski. But about 9:06 through 3,000 meters, and we'll see what Rogers can do off of this pace.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see what these teammates are going to do. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Taylor Werner, does she have the World Championship standard already as well? So she's 15:11. So there's a world where Natasha Rogers tries to pull her teammate along to get that World Championship standard, or at the very minimum, definitively punch her ticket down to Eugene with a 15:09. But right now, Natasha Rogers is content to be out front and just really following the guidance of these wave lights. She's uncanny how good she is at pacing.
And 2 miles reached in just under or just over 9:40 it looked like. Thereabouts. Julianne Staley is down at the moment, but not out too. She is not letting the gap grow considerably, and Ali Buchowski is clawing back to Julianne Staley too. Those third and fourth positions, but this is Natasha Rogers and Taylor Werner out front. You can see Staley and Buchowski right behind them in the split screen.
I stand corrected. Taylor Werner ran 15:11 indoors this year in that BU meet where Natasha Rogers ran 14:52. Her outdoor personal best 15:18.7. She's looking at a personal best. There's no better time to run on the personal best than a month out from a championship. So I think she's probably going to try and see how low can she go.
And she's fired up right now. She jumped in front and took the lead. I remember talking to her before the 10, and she did some pacing duties for her teammates. And I asked her what they were looking to do, and she said, sub 30, baby.
Love that.
Love that energy. But Werner out front now, leading this championship race here in the Electric Forest this evening. Natasha Rogers behind her. They're both looking to get in the money, and one of them is going to take the log round home. Who's it going to be? Teammates out in front.
It's funny, it's a consideration that I'm not even thinking about watching these two women race, is that there's a pretty large delta in the prize purse between first and second. So
yep.
That's another consideration for these women, that this is a job after all, and making money is important.
Got to put food on the table. 11:31.
Especially of a distance runner.
11:31 at 3,800. That was a 72.4, so they just keep clicking off 72s with change. And now Rogers goes around her teammate again to reassume the pacing duties. You can see their coach, Alistair Craig, jogging by him, giving him a split, giving him some encouragement. And now, Natasha Rogers coming through here, rounding the bend, Taylor Werner. And then that screen on the right, you can see Staley and Buchowski. And they're about 5 seconds back. So still looking to get a good season's best here out of this race. And it looks like Buchowski is trying to make her way around
Staley. A lead
Staley.
change again, Taylor Werner going around Natasha Rogers.
Werner could maybe sense that the pace was slowing slightly, because this is not even a lap that she let Natasha Rogers take the lead, and now it's Werner.
Daylight between the two teammates.
Werner is pushing, and you could tell she looked strong at the track fest, doing that pacing job for her teammate Fiona O'Keefe in that 10,000. But now she's getting a slight forward lean going here, and she's inside 800 meters to go at this point. That was a 72.5. But Natasha Rogers not out of the picture yet.
The
Werner.
last 4 laps for Taylor Werner have been 72.1, 72.5, 72.4, 72.5. I mean, they are just following these lights like clockwork, but you gotta have the fitness to be able to do it. The lights don't do all of the work for you. And Taylor Werner, you know, if she can muster something here over the last 500 meters, she might drop under 15 minutes.
The lights can show you the way, Will, but you have to do it. And Taylor Werner is doing it right now for the Puma Elite Racing team. She's driving here, and we're coming up to the bell lap, and they're ringing it for her right now as she approaches. She hits it in 13:55. So driving with everything she has, she would need to have a close under 65 to duck under that 15-minute mark, which is not...
It's a tall order.
It is a tall order.
Not impossible, because she's flying down the backstretch, continuing to lengthen that gap between herself and Natasha Rogers. She's left the wave light in her rears, and with 200 meters to go...
Taylor Werner flying now around the 200 mark. And she's leaving her accomplished teammate behind her. Natasha Rogers is a very accomplished individual here, 14:52 athlete, Team USA member in the 10,000 meters. And Taylor Werner, this is her race tonight. This is all her. She's pushing, she's driving her legs, punching towards that finish line here, driving down the straight. The win is hers. What's it going to be? 15 minutes passes on the clock, and it is 15:02 for Taylor Werner tonight. Natasha Rogers coming in for second as Puma Elite Racing takes 1-2.
15:03 takes 15 seconds off Taylor Werner's outdoor personal best, takes 8 seconds off her overall PB as the competitors continue to stream in here.
Katie Wasserman comes in third for NAZ Elite, 15:15. Allie Buhowski, 15:19 for the Brooks Beasts, and Julianne Staley, 15:24 for New Balance Boston. Taylor Werner, there she is, doing some damage tonight in the electric forest, cranking up the voltage here for her team, bringing that energy and that passion that she brings to that
30,
Puma
baby.
Elite Racing team. Yeah, we're going to the moon. There we go. Getting a hug from the competitors. Katie Izzo there. Wow.
So the results are populating on the screen. There's your top 10. In 11th, we had Sam Nadell, 15:43. Maddie Alm, 15:44. Royce Flanagan, 15:46. Katrina Coogan, 15:52. Haley Herberg, 16:07 to round out that entire women's field.
So here's Taylor Werner driving down the stretch again. Looking fantastic doing it. This is a clear confidence booster for her heading into USA's. And we got a month to go.
Oh, me? I'm in the best shape of my life. How about you?
Yeah. Oh, what did you do tonight? I just won at Portland Track Festival. Taking home the log round.
Cool. What are we at now? $1,500 for that race? $1,392.
$1,392 as it sits now, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does get up to $1,500. We'll see.
Sweeten the pot.
We've got the men's 5,000 meters here, and this is the Paul Banta Memorial men's 5,000 meters as we look at the team scores. So the way that we calculate these scores this year, first place gets 5 points, second place 3 points, third place 1 point. Right now the Brooks Beast dominating with 14 points over the American Distance Project with 8. U.S. Army with 5 and Lululemon with 5. With those steeplechase wins from Couture and Quigley last night. This is the men's 5,000 meter race, named after Paul Banta, who's a longtime track man here in Portland. He started the Portland Track Classic, which is the predecessor to the Portland Track Festival. And this race is commemorating his gifts to the community. So it's a special one every year. Last year, this race was won by Pat Tiernan of that Puma Elite Racing team. 13-19.
One of the greatest guys in all of track and field.
The Aussie.
Yeah. Our start list is showing 17. Unsure how many pacers we're going to have jump in and assist this group. Clearly I have 1 or 2. But it's a little crowded on that start line. Nothing these men aren't accustomed to, but we wish them a clean start.
The wave light is set for 13:20 for this race, and that is the U.S. Championship qualifying standard. World qualifying is 13:07. The meet record last year was 13:19.14 by Pat Tiernan, and he took that from Dathan Ritzenheim. Olin Hacker in the field. Oh, and it's a false start, 5,000 meters. Gunshots everywhere.
I think that was a timing error. I heard a gun over here.
Sometimes we've been told there can be a faulty shell for the starting gun, which is nobody's fault but the shell maker.
I've only ever heard that excuse from crabs.
So 13:19 for Pat Tiernan last year, and taking the meet record from Dathan Ritzenhein, who ran 13:19. Dathan Ritzenhein famously ran 13:19, came back in a second heat and ran 13:44. So
Yeah, why not?
the Suguru Osako special, where he did that in the 10K, running 27:56 and then 29:04.
Olin Hacker did win the Festival of Miles in St. Louis on
But look at that.
He did run 3:56.
Beer garden filling
He
up
did win the NCAA
at the 200-meter line here as we run the Paul Banta Memorial 5,000 meters, followed by the cappers of the evening, the Nike running women's and men's 1,500 meters. 1,500 meters is a special distance here at the Portland Track Festival. Through all sections, the depth is always amazing, and the top races are electric. Fans give the nod to Olin Hacker here, who just claimed a victory in St. Louis earlier in the week, running 3:56 for the mile, and then jumping on a plane coming out here, competing 5,000 meters. How do you think the legs are feeling after that?
Probably pretty good.
Probably pretty good.
Doesn't seem like people are phased by much anymore with the new shoe technology. Come off a race, feel great.
Put on the squishy shoes, recover.
Just check on some squishy shoes, go for a run.
So we got the prize purse sitting at 1,393 for the win right now. And look at that. That beer garden's going to get rowdy for this one. And can you imagine what it's going to be like during those 1,500s?
If I don't see, like in the golf, getting beers thrown onto the track, this hasn't been a successful event.
If Craig Engels wins tonight,
He will go straight over there.
is he doing
He's
a
going
keg
to sprint straight over for a keg stand.
A Craig stand. All right, looks like we're ready to go. Pete Castro gives the okay. And we'll go when Bruce Davis says we can go.
And not a moment before.
I think it might be, we've got timing over there checking out the machinery. Gun is up. Yeah, I think the voltage was getting too high here in the electric forest. They had to check the equipment. Sometimes that happens.
We don't know why, we don't know how, but it does happen.
It's magic. So we've got Pacers out in front. That looks like Brian Barraza in the second position.
Austin Miller up front.
Austin Miller. And Olin Hacker in that third spot, tucking in there. Wants to get under that 13:20 mark. And it's amazing how far American 5,000 meter running has come. It makes us sound old, but in the last 20 years, I remember watching 5,000 meters, the documentary in
Nothing comes easy.
2004, and the U.S. athletes were trying to break 13:30 back then.
13:20.
13:20.
1.5 was the Olympic standard.
But it was a big deal to get under 13:30.
Sure
for
was,
a lot of guys.
I think the Olympic standard is now 12:50, so good luck to everybody.
Yeah, better start looking to the points for that. But you never know. We've got what, 3 Americans in Florence that ran in the 12:50s.
That was insanity.
And some special nights have happened here in Portland in the 5,000 meters for Woody Kincaid and others. Woody running that 12:58 on the Nike campus in the Hunt Portland 5,000 in 2019. And then on this track prior to 2019, in 2016, the first time that Woody Kincaid defeated Galen Rupp in the 5,000 meters occurred here at the Stumptown Twilight when he wore his Portland Pilots uniform to do that.
He's not a Portland State poet.
Austin Miller at the front here, leading Brian Barraza. Olin Hacker coming up to the start line, 2:08 roughly for 800 meters on the pace. Brody Hasty sitting in there too. Benjamin Eidenschink behind Olin Hacker.
Brody Hasty was a high school sub-4 guy, right?
I believe if he wasn't, he was close.
Yeah, maybe 4 flat.
And we're going to send you down to the living room to have a chat with Taylor Werner, but we'll be right back.
And we're back in the living room couch with Taylor Werner, who just won the women's 5K. Okay, Taylor, walk us through the race. How do you feel?
So my teammate and I, Natasha, the goal was to kind of stay in the middle, and we got out in the front right away. So we were like, all right, the game plan is completely changing. But I'm so glad I had my teammate in there, and we just kind of worked together. And next thing you know, I was like, I can kick, and I'm going to do it. And now I'm on the couch. So
I mean, that is the goal ultimately.
yeah. No, oh, yeah, I'll take that for sure. I mean, I'm cool with that. So.
Our follow-up question is, obviously, we're in the electric forest, as they like to call it. The crowd energy seemed great, and it probably pushed you a lot at the end. How do you think that changed your mindset?
Oh, it's so nice. I mean, when you're running that hard, you can get so negative so fast. And so when you hear people cheering for you, it's like, okay, yeah, no, I have something else to do, entertain the public, and just keep going, because I really don't want to embarrass myself. So, but no, it's so fun, so fun.
Well, we're so happy to have you here in the couch. Please come back next year. So, congratulations.
Huge congrats, Taylor.
Thank you.
So you can sign.
And we're back here in the men's 5,000 meter race. We've got Austin Miller and Brian Barraza leading the group up front. See Tom Anderson peeking out there, but we're coming towards 1,600 meters here as Miller steps off at about 4:16 high, 4:17. So Hawker sitting behind Barraza now, and Eidenschink wearing number 7.
My sources are telling me that Ben Eidenschink is fit. Very, very fit.
Fit.
Oh, my fit. Fit as.
I'm fit. And
If he's taking any notes from Alicia, then he's doing something right.
yeah, that's Alicia Munson.
Yeah, they're partners. And
Partners in crime.
partners in crime out there in Niwot, Colorado.
Well, he's part of a trio that separated themselves. Olin Hacker, Brian Barraza, the pacer, and Eidenschink. So staking his position to try and claim the victory here in the electric forest tonight. Take home a log round. That'll serve as a nice charcuterie board for himself and Alicia.
I can't see it serving any other purpose.
We got Thomas Fafard in that bright yellow singlet too, a Canadian. I believe he's from Quebec. And he's jumped onto that trio, trying to hang into this pace. But now, Fafard closing the gap, passing Eidenschink, getting up to Hacker. As we said, Olin Hacker ran 3:56 a few days ago out in St. Louis.
It's a good tactic, running some hard 1500s, whether they go, or miles or 1500s, whether they go well or they don't. It does take a lot of the sting out of that first 4, 5, 6 laps of this race. If you only run miles and then run a 5K, the 5K is a real pain because you just keep seeing these numbers that you're unaccustomed to seeing, 12, 11, 10, and then by the time you get to 4 laps to go, this is my race distance. What am I doing out here? But this group of 4, Brian Barraza, doing the Lord's work out there for him, keeping them right on pace, right in the heart of that green pace light. Olin Hacker seems up to the task. And my tradition of cursing athletes when I say how fit they are lives on. But Ben Eidenschink holding on closely. You can do a lot of work in the last 5, 6 laps of this race. We've been saying that time and again. We've watched people with massive closes make gaps dwindle over the last 400, 500 meters. So I'm not too worried, but this trio of 3 up front looks really good to me.
We'll see if Eidenschink can channel his inner Tyrone Gorsey and get back in it, fight to the finish like he did last night.
Boot and rally, baby.
Yeah, 29 flat after a mid-race up chuck. Barraza out front, Olin Hacker still there, and there's some shuffling of the deck in that second pack as Lawrence Kipkoech now leads it in the bright orange, and Tom Anderson from Seattle wearing the Hoka singlet in there as well. Last year, Tom Anderson, a ringer in the Portland versus Seattle 3K. Maybe why it was tipped in their favor. He's a 1320s 5,000 meter man.
He wasn't willing to throw away his race tonight for the axe.
We've tried to convince Woody to jump into the Portland versus Seattle 3K now and again. Maybe he'll do it one day.
If you ask him he can't say no to something if you ask him 3 times. So if you ask him a 3rd time.
Everybody knows that.
Everyone knows that.
Olin Hacker out front here.
Loving
with
these
Thomas
drone
Fafard.
shots. Ivan on the drone, just absolutely killing it. Just beautiful.
Through 3K in 8:01 here. That was a 64-second lap. They've been running 64 flats mostly. Olin Hacker driving the train now, and Fafard, but Hacker is getting some daylight up there.
Yeah, as we talked about before, it is absolutely insane in this event how quickly you can go from being cool, calm, and collected to sirens going off inside your head saying, "What are you doing? What are you trying to do to your body? This is insane." Olin Hacker still looks like he's covering ground fairly effortlessly. The kid moves really, really well, and seems very much up to the task tonight. He's got the lights right in front of him. He knows what he's got to do.
Yeah, riding the red line out here. He's playing with fire. The NAZ elite athlete, Olin Hacker, straight out of Flagstaff. It's Hacker solo now, and Fafard in second. Aiden Schenk still in third. And then that pack behind them led by Tom Anderson in the Hoka uniform. So that was a 63.99, so still right on 64 flat pace.
Yeah, they're ever so slightly slow, that 13:20. So 13:20 would be 8 minutes at 3K, 9:04 at 3,400. So Olin slipping a little bit right now, but with the big closer the last 600 meters, I think he draws those lights back in. Right now, this is where you start to second guess a lot of decisions you've made early in the race. With, I think, 1,200 meters to go is one of the hardest places in a 5K. But if you can grind through these next 2 laps without losing too much ground, a big closer the last 400 takes care of anything that may have slipped away.
Yeah, Hacker trying to hang on to those lights solo now. For where we are in the race right now, it looks like he might have that first place check in his pocket already, but you never know what can happen. 3 laps remaining.
Yeah, 10:10 at 3,800 meters. He needs to run 62 points for these next 3 laps to come under 13:20, at least average that. So I still have high hopes for Olin Hacker today. His form hasn't really changed. The lights seem to be slowly slipping out of his grasp.
See a little tightening up in his neck slightly. That was a 65 last lap through 3,800 meters.
Yeah, you saw a little grimace there, a little squint to the eyes. That shows you the man is working. He's putting in the hard yards right now.
We're coming up here. 800 meters to go is 800 meters to go. So depending on what that does to your brain, it could be a good thing or a bad thing. We'll see what it does for Hacker here.
I only ran a couple competitive 5Ks in my life, and one of my strategies was if I'm hurting really bad, I needed to take the lead 800 meters to go. Now, I didn't last very long there. I got swooped up by a bunch of other much more accomplished athletes, but just simply making that move to the front shocked my system enough to get me to the finish line.
That was another 65 there for Hacker, 11:15 with 800 meters to go. So Hacker facing the backstretch alone right now, charging down it. And Aiden Schenk has retaken second place ahead of Fafard, as you can see them in the distance in that big screen. And Brody Hasty has jumped up in front of Tom Anderson in that third pack to get into 4th place. Hacker's rounding the bend, passing the steeple pit. So as he comes up here, he'll have 500 meters to go now.
If you're watching this broadcast and know anybody in the stands, make sure to remind them that the steeplechase pit has been turned up to 104 degrees to match the heat of the hot window. So the hot tub Still no takers, but Olin Hacker coming out with 400 meters to go. What can he muster over this last lap? Can he close in 60 and run 13:20?
That was about a 65 there as well, 65.2, so 12:20 at the bell. And now, with less than 400 meters to go, Hacker tries to unfurl that stride and channel the power that his flowing locks are giving him. Straight out of Flagstaff up to Portland, running here in the Electric Forest, taking the victory tonight in the Paul Banta Memorial 5,000 meters. It looks to be his, but he's chasing that green light in front of him and he's gaining on it. We'll see if he can duck under the standard. Look at this. He's rolling right now, going to sprint form.
Come on, Olin Hacker. Give it hell.
He's kicking it into overdrive, and the fans love it. They're driving. They know he's in front of the lights. What's Olin Hacker going to do here? Driving to the tape, 13:19.
A lot of ground can be made up in the final 400.
13:19.28 for Olin Hacker, a 58.68 final circuit. There he is. Oh, what an effort. There you go, big man. Enjoy it. Second place goes to Benjamin Eidenschink, 13:33.24. And you know what? Let's check. But that very well could be a meet record. Oh, just off. 13:19.14 is the meet record for Pat Tiernan. 13:19.28 for Olin Hacker. Shoots him way up the all-time list. Brody Hasty, 13:37 for third. Fafard, 13:37. And a whole group of guys under the 14-minute mark. But a little electricity in that last lap for Olin Hacker as he's running 65s and then managed to close well.
They don't call it the Electric Forest for nothing.
That's right. There's a lot of energy right now. People are getting fired up because you know what's next.
I do.
The Nike running 1500s. This is the premier event of the evening, and we've stacked the prize purses here. Currently, the Nike running women's 1500 meters, the prize purse is sitting at the winner receiving $4,196 currently as the women toe the line. Second place will get $2,623. We know those numbers will go up throughout the evening as we look at this group, and we can see on the outside the Pacers' Katie Camarena coming back after her 4:08 effort in Heat 2. And then it looks like Kayla Edwards jumping in as well. But the competitors in here, we have Lucia Stafford headlining the field, and Helen Schlachtenhofen, Marta Penn-Freitas of the Brooks Beasts in here as well. Lucia Stafford coming back after her 4:02 race down in LA last weekend.
Is here wearing hip number 1, the Dartmouth alum. She's run 4:01.09.
Anna Kemp Bennett in this for the long haul after pacing that brilliant women's 1500 down in LA last week.
From Portugal, and the Brooks Beast is here. She's run 4:04.
Emily Lapari in there too. We have the lights set for 4:03.5, the world standard. Allie Cash, Hannah Hermanson in this field. Grace Barnett Stallnaker. Taryn Rawlings coming back from the 800. Doubling in this event. And Christina Aragon in here too, on the inside. And the women are off as Kayla Edwards jumps to the front, and so does Katie Camarena. Fans like Hannah Hermanson and Lucia Stafford. But I don't see Lucia Stafford in the field.
Hey, you see Rollins and Schlachtenhofen, followed by that Almadelia Cortez of Mexico.
Alma Cortez.
Sky Webb.
Sky Webb having a great season too. 4:06 win at Stanford earlier this year. And now as the lights start to dim, you can see the wave lights in this drone shot too. As they round the bend, coming up to 400 meters, with Taryn Rawlings latched onto the pace at 64 high. So it's the two pacers, and then Taryn Rawlings, and then Helen Schlachtenhofen in third place, and then Skylin Webb behind her on the outside. So Rawlings going with the pace. Rawlings, a Portland native, grew up here, so showing out for the home crowd. She now trains down in Southern California with the Golden Coast Track Club.
Pace setters can't lose much now. They're right on the edge of that 4:03.5 pace. And Katie Camarena starting to slip ever so slightly behind the blue lights. Kayla Edwards starting to sense that, moving up on her shoulder to apply a little bit of pressure so that Taryn Rawlings doesn't lose anything here.
And there's Rawlings and Sky Webb trying to claw back to Taryn Rawlings too, who's trying to stay on the pace after that 800 meters in her legs. But it looks like Rawlings is moving wide as well. And now it is Skylin Webb as Rawlings steps off. And some movement back there as Allie Cash jumps up, and so does Alma Cortez. But Skylin Webb at the front, behind Kayla Edwards, who's on the lights.
And you can never count out Emily Lipari, one of the most tenacious racers in all of track and field across a variety of different distances. But she's proving herself to be very formidable in this event. And who knows, Kayla Edwards might just take it the whole way.
Is Kayla Edwards going to stay in this? She's well past 1,000 meters, and she's coming up to 1,200 meters, and she's hanging on the lights too. Allie Cash right behind her, or not right behind, I should say, about 10 meters. Kayla Edwards steps off now as Allie Cash is your lead racer now. It's Allie Cash, and then Helen Schlachtenhofen, and then Sky Webb. Schlachtenhofen looking to make a move right now around Allie Cash, and she gets by as she's got an open side of the backstretch.
This is surprising from Schlachtenhofen. There were stages of this race where she looked like she was just struggling so much, but has found something else within her and is absolutely flying with 200 meters to go. You can see her continue to change gears, downshift, and fly away from her competitors with 150 meters to go, passing the hot tub.
Schlachtenhofen now has a good gap on the field. Allie Cash driving in second. Allie Cash coming down from Seattle. And it's Schlachtenhofen down the stretch. She's chasing the tape. It looks like this will be Helen Schlachtenhofen's victory for the Nike Women's 1500.
Schlachtenhofen is going to win. Emily Lipari is going to scoot past Allie Cash for second, Allie Cash in third, and Anna Camp Bennett finishing in fourth. Those were fiery finishes.
A fiery finish here in the Electric Forest at the Portland Track Festival for the women's 1500 meter championship race. There's your victor, Helen Schlachtenhofen, with second place Allie Cash there. 4:05.67 takes the win here tonight and the lion's share of the purse. Oh, well, Emily Lipari came up for second. I misspoke. You got it right, Will.
I know an Emily Lipari finish when I see one.
That's expected. There's Schlachtenhofen driving here, and she got a clear gap on the field, crossing the finish. Arms up for the band or for the tape. Here's another angle with the fans, and there's Lipari, just edging out Cash, and Anna Camp Bennett getting fourth there. The champions log round firmly in Schlachtenhofen's grasp.
I'd like to applaud all of the track and field announcers in the world who just continue to nail Schlachtenhofen's last name.
It's just fun to say.
It is incredibly fun to say.
And for the event that many of us have been waiting for this evening. The Nike Running Men's 1,500 meters to cap off the night. And there have been many electric performances in Portland throughout the years, but the field assembled here tonight is one ready to set fireworks off. So we have in this field a rematch of the first, second, and fourth place finishers of the previous Olympic trials. Cole Hawker, Matthew Centrowitz, the 2016 gold medalist in this event in the Olympics. There's Cole Hawker there, the champion. And there's Craig Engels, two-time winner of the Portland Track Festival 1500. Henry Wynn, Charles Philibert Thibodeau, Johnny the Jet Gregoric, Amos Bartlesmeyer, Drew Hunter, Sam Prakel, Eamon Kemboy, Kieran Lum, Cameron Paseviat, there's Matt Centrowitz, Dylan Maggard in the field, and your pacer, Eric Sawinski, rocking the Jacuzzi Boys Athletic Club singlet.
Clearly attempting to garner the love of the fans here.
And the fans like CPT tonight, it looks like.
CPT's been on a burner lately. He's been running super well. I think Henry Wynn, with every preceding race, just keeps getting better and better, as does Matt Centrowitz. There was a lot of talk this winter when he went down to Australia. Some of the results that he was putting up, people were mocking and saying, of course, as the message boards do, Centro's done. And what does he do? He shuts them up in LA by running 335, 336, being exactly where he needs to be when he needs to be there.
And when Matt Centrowitz runs 336, there's a switch flipped. And that just gives him all the confidence in the world.
Yeah, and you don't want a Matt Centrowitz as a leader. If you have to race him at USA's, if he's laser focused between now and then, knowing that he's in the right place physically, he's one of the best there's ever been.
You could never count him out. He's one of the rarest personalities in the sport, and one that needs the pressure in order to succeed.
Most of our blood runs at about 98.6. I think Matt Centrowitz is about 68.9. Guy's got absolute ice running in his veins.
But this rivalry between, Matt Centrowitz, Craig Engels, and Cole Hawker too, for many, this is Craig Engels' house. The Portland Track Festival is largely a Craig Engels meet here for the performances that he's given in the past. So we'll see how this plays out as they let Sawinski go to the front, and there's some pushing and shoving as Kieran Lum goes with him, and then Sam Prakel behind him. Kieran Lum, 335.9 guy, coached by Andy Powell, as is Sam Prakel.
I think most of this field is coached by Andy Powell, Jeff.
And, who wouldn't want to be coached by Andy Powell?
I wouldn't, because that would mean I'd still have to be running.
Here we go.
But Sawinski doing, again, an absolutely bang-on perfect job, pacing his athletes through 350 meters now. Kieran Lum up for the task tonight. Sam Prakel, Johnny Gregoric, Henry Wynn, Centro, CPT.
A 56.5 as the sprinklers go off on the field. Oh boy.
Cool them down. Sprinklers are too hot. The hot window's too hot. Turn on the sprinklers.
Kieran Lum tucked in behind Eric Sawinski, Sam Prakel there, Johnny Gregoric. Everyone is going with the pace. And Amos Bartlesmeyer in there. We got Centro tucked in right behind Bartlesmeyer. On the outside, Henry Wynn. It looks like Craig Engels is boxed as usual on the inside.
Yeah, Craig Engels in terrible position. CPT getting tripped up by Drew Hunter. Craig needs to get out of this. Centro right on Amos. 800 meters, there's a lot of running left to do. Kieran Lum looks fantastic. Sam Prakel right behind him. Johnny Gregoric. No one's giving anybody an inch. Everyone wants to be at the front when we come to 700 meters from now. Kieran Lum right on Eric Sawinski.
154. Everyone wants that pole position, but now it's starting to stretch out a little bit as Sawinski's still on the front. Kieran Lum has been sitting there the entire time, right behind him in his pocket. And then Sam Prakel and Johnny Gregoric, Amos Bartlesmeyer, and Matthew Centrowitz.
And if we were teeing this up to be Centro v. Engels, Engels is right on the heels of Centro right now, just waiting to unleash a ferocious kick. We saw him finish so well in LA last weekend in the 800, waving to the fans as he ran a 147. Hopefully Craig doesn't get boxed in here again, but it goes Kieran Lum, Sam Prakel, Johnny the Jet Gregoric, Amos Barsmeyer in a gap back to Centro. Centro seems to be faltering a little bit as the front four are getting away.
Lum at the front with 2:36 with a lap to go. We'll see what fire everybody has to throw at each other in this final lap. That was a 57.1, 56 high for a lot of guys changing position around there.
251.
251 at 1,200 meters. This is hot.
Let us not forget, Kieran Lum walked away from the back half of his senior season at the University of Washington and taken an on deal. He knows he needs to run the time to get into World Championships. This is the best chance that he's had. It's Lum, it's Prakel, it's Gregoric, it's Kemboy.
Lum, a Canadian. And look at Sam Prakel go around, and he's got a fight with Eamon Kemboy, who's trying to make it around as well.
And Cole Hawker coming in like a head full of steam. Cole Hawker using his patented kick, swinging wide. We now see that Cole Hawker is absolutely fit, ready to show up again at USA's.
It's Kemboy at the front, but can Cole Hawker get there? Does he have enough track?
And here comes
right
the jet.
now. Cole Hawker. Who is it? I think it's Kemboy. We will see.
333.
333.
Oh, it rounds up to 334.12.
334.12 for Eamon Kemboy. The Puma Elite Racing. Wow, Cole Hawker 334.14, his first race of the season. Johnny Gregoric coming in third, 334.35. Amos Bartlesmeyer, a great performance. That's a personal best for him, 334.39. Prakel, 334.63. It's a blanket finish here.
Are you not entertained?
This is what you came for, and this is what you got.
Drew Hunter with a fantastic finish. Drew Hunter, 335.33. Papa Drew.
The new dad?
The new dad.
And
Sleep be damned.
Look at that pack rolling up here. Oh, so close.
What an exciting finish. I apologize if we tripped on our words a little bit there the last 100 meters. But I saw a vision, a blurred vision coming around with 150 meters to go.
You saw it before
and
I
that
did.
vision was Cole Hawker, none other than.
And the fans going home happy here after that. 56.4 for Kemboy on the close, but 55.13 with Cole Hawker trying to get through a lot of traffic in order to make that happen.
You know, it's we could call that race a vintage Cole Hawker race, but I think as you go towards the U.S. Championships, he's not going to put himself in a position where he needs to do that much work to get to the front. He's too savvy. He's been on the biggest stages too much. He knows how good his competitors are. But now guess what? Everyone knows that Cole Hawker's here to play.
Yep. Cole Hawker has re-entered the chat in U.S. American miling. And look at this. This is a good result for Craig Engels as well. His first 1,500 of the season. He placed 11th in this race at 336.79. That's 11th.
Dylan Maggard, a guy who was sort of trending towards that 5K, 10K, maybe more towards 10K, is taking a step back now under the tutelage of Danny Mackey with the Brooks Beast. Runs 337.17 as the results are now official. 337.17 for Dylan Maggard. Centro, tires got a little flat there at the end for Centro, coming in last, 338.20. But he knows what he needs to do.
He's got a month to prepare now, and we're on the screen. Well, we're here for the drone right in front of us. It's been a pleasure to spend the evening with all of you tonight here at the Portland Track Festival, and you will. Once again.
We started with Masters Men's, the Gentleman's Mile, shaking hands, nodding heads. We finish with a send-off from the Electric Forest on one of the most unbelievably fantastic men's 1500s that I've ever seen domestically, and we've got an interview with that winner.
Yeah,
Eamon
let's
Kemboy.
send it down to the living room. Eamon Kemboy.
And we're back in the living room couch with the last winner of today, Eamon Kemboy, who just won the 1500. So tell us how you feel. That was a pretty hard race.
Yeah, it started out like tough, but I was able to move into lane 2 and just hang on the group. I was cautious about the movement in the front pack, just checking around and then waiting for them to just run in front and execute the rest. So that was the plan all along.
Honestly amazing. Do you think the crowd's energy did anything to help you, especially at the end where it got really close between you and the competitors?
Yeah, it helped a lot. That was I was able to feed on that, and that's this is the last 50 meters, and just roll, push myself as much as I could. Yeah, because I felt there was someone behind me, just able to hang on and for that win.
Amazing job. Congratulations. So you can sign our finish line right here as the last one of the day. And that is a wrap with Portland Track Festival.
We're good to go.
Well, what an exciting finish. Hats off to Eamon Kemboy with a fantastic last 100 meters run. Can't believe we've come to another close.
It's a tall order to fight off Cole Hawker with that stretch run there, but we know that Cole Hawker has it now, and Eamon Kemboy, the Kenyan, takes it here. The Nike running men's 1,500 meters, but what else is there to say? Well, this has been a great evening, and we're going to do it again next year.
Absolutely.
But from all of us here, Portland Track, Tracklandia, we thank you for tuning in, and so long from the Electric Forest. Until next year.
Aloha.